1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, I love counting, whatever the amount.
Hello everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here, and welcome to the final 10 for 12 in 2014. And if you haven't been watching my channel for the past year, and you're relatively new, one of the things that I decided to do is, when it comes to the last 10 for 12 of the year, I like to really take a look at all the culminating events that really shaped the year for what it was. I started doing it last year, and I'll post a link to the 10 moments that shaped 2013. This year really made us look deep inside each and every one of ourselves and look at each other as neighbors, family, and friends, and realize that there are things that we need to do as a species on this planet to better ourselves and try to realize that we have come such a long way. And it's incredible to believe that some of the things that I will discuss are things that have been talked about and argued about and debated on to try and remove them, and yet they always keep coming back when we look at each other and say to ourselves, why are we still doing this? Why are we still like this? But anyway, I don't want to make this extremely depressing. I just want to make sure that I got my point across. Number 10 was the Oscar Pistorius trial, the Blade Runner trial. I mean, we have seen a lot of famous celebrities go to court in regards to anything from theft to murder, but while we haven't really seen anything like this since the O.J. Simpson trial, we really saw a real mystery in this Olympic athlete, a guy that has lost both of his legs and still managed to make a mark on history in the London Games in the Olympics, and all of a sudden this event takes place, and it's just so strange to see how this guy, who you never would have imagined to have any kind of history like this, or even think these kinds of ways, how what happened, and we're still dealing with wondering what's going to happen to this guy next. I'm still wondering, why did this happen? Number 9 was a very interesting event, and that was the White House invasion. It was something that made me worry about security in this country, whether it's physical security or cyber security. The fact that a man managed to hop the White House fence and actually get to the steps of the White House. Luckily, the president was not in any danger because he wasn't there, but the fact that this actually took place and the Secret Service was questioned in regards to this, just something that really made me think in regards to safety in what we're supposed to call the greatest country in the world. Number 8 is a happy moment. I never would have imagined that I would see the day where Weird Al Yankovic would get the #1 album in the country. This is a guy that's been doing this for so many years, since the early 1980s, and you probably have one Weird Al song that you absolutely love. It's just so amazing to see that after all this time, his possibly last album, which as far as I'm concerned is one of his greatest albums, got to #1 on the Billboard charts, and people just praise and love this guy for all he's worth. And I'm so happy that in January he's going to be on a network television miniseries on ABC, so I'm really excited to see what's going to come of that. Good job, Weird Al. I'm very, very proud of you as a fan. Number 7. The 2014 World Cup. This is a sport that I'm not really a big fan of, but this year I think soccer really impacted the United States in a positive way. We saw some of the best matches that I have ever seen in soccer. Probably one of the best that I saw was the United States-Portugal game. I mean, I went crazy during that game. I think this time it's not going to be fans just saying, oh, we'll wait another 4 years till soccer. No, I think people are now finally looking at soccer as a good sport, and I really believe that soccer is going to make a much bigger impact as time goes on, and more people are not going to be waiting around for the World Cup. They are going to keep watching, and when the World Cup comes around, it's like the Olympics. Everybody's just going to be excited to watch it. Number 6 is something that was joyous and brought a tear to many eyes. Even if you weren't a fan of the New York Yankees, it was the fact that the captain, probably one of the greatest baseball players of my time, Derek Jeter, tipped his hat one last time to legions of fans and said goodbye to a wonderful, wonderful and historic baseball career. The reason why it was so impactful to me was because I'm a Mets fan, but I always admired Derek Jeter because of who he was and how he performed in the game. In the whole event that unfolded with the steroid scandal, never once was he questioned. Never once did he do anything to truly soil his name in the face of the media and the public and the fans. And he was the guy that you could just always look up to. Little boys and girls who love the game of baseball admire Derek Jeter. He is one of the greatest athletes of the last 20 years, and I have no doubt that he will get on first ballot Hall of Fame entry, and I'm just happy to know that I got to see him play. I got to go to a game where he actually played, and I actually got to see him win World Series and break Lou Gehrig's record. So he really is a true sportsman, and I'm glad to know that I have witnessed a career like that. Number 5 is the fact that we lost a lot of famous faces. It's not like we don't every single year, but this year I really feel that the celebrities that we lost were faces that we all, as fans of film, music, and even other areas of pop culture, we loved these people. They were just some of the most pure, most talented, most amazing people at their craft. Everybody from Philip Seymour Hoffman to Mickey Rooney to even Oscar de la Renta. But of course, the one that really had an impact on almost everybody that I could think of, and I'm sure that no one would deny that, was the passing of Robin Williams. He was just something truly special, and I'm really glad to know that I got to witness an amazing career with some of my all-time favorite movies, and he, amongst everybody else that I mentioned, they will all be truly missed. We truly will thank them, and we will always make sure as fans that we will preserve their legacy as best as we possibly can. Number 4 was the domestic violence scandals that took place in the NFL specifically. The whole event that unfolded with Ray Rice, to the whole event that unfolded with Adrian Peterson and all of the other players in the NFL that got reprimanded for their actions. I mean, it's crazy how you took a look at Derek Jeter leaving the game of baseball, a positive role model, and then all of a sudden you hear about all of these football players who were all very positive role models, and not just that, excellent football players. Adrian Peterson and Ray Rice were two of the best in the game until these crazy events unfolded. But, you know, we can't defend them. They did what they did and the deed is done. And now they have to pay the price. The one thing that will never make sense to me is you've got a life. You've got a life that the average person in this world craves that they could have. Money, fans, appreciators. The fact that you abuse the power that you have and end up doing something foolish to really jeopardize your career, what do you say to that? What will happen to these players who had to pay the piper? I don't know. But what I will say is they were good at what they did, but will they ever be the same if they're given the chance to get back onto the football field? I have no idea. But one thing is for sure, I will be happy to see people like that back, especially because of what they were. But will I look at them and admire them the same way that I did when they get back on that field? If they get back on that field, my answer is absolutely not. Number 3, the Battle of Crimea. Of course, we all know about the fact that this took place, but I don't really know what to say about this. I mean, communism died a long time ago in that country, and then all of a sudden, these events that took place in the Ukraine happened. I mean, look, we're just on the outside looking in, but what was going on in Russia and the Ukraine, that's something that they know and that they can share with us. And there were also a lot of things that took place that were very controversial around this whole event. One of them, what happened to be the downing of one of the Malaysian airline planes. I mean, that was another event that took place, and I think most of us forgot it, but one of the planes that did go down happened to be something that was involved near the areas of Russia and the Ukraine. But what is this going to do as far as shaping the future? I don't know. But we just recently saw that we may be having positive relations with Cuba, a country that we haven't had good relations with since John F. Kennedy was in the White House. Things can change for the better based on things that unfortunately could have been the worst. I don't want to say that there's going to be no second Cold War, but I do believe that when it comes to people like this that are in power, and we can even talk about what happened with the interview and North Korea, I really feel that we have to just be strong and just keep doing what we're doing wherever we live, and just know that while there are people that are like this in the world, we should not let them affect our liberties and our freedoms. Our job is to get up in the morning, go do what we love to do during the day, and come home and say hello to our loved ones at night. If we don't do that, and we're always looking behind us because of everything else that's happening in the world, you're never truly going to live. Number 2, racial tension. This is a very important discussion, and I really don't want to give my opinion because that's not the reason. What I will say is, we gotta stop. We've just gotta stop looking at each other and basing our judgments on each other from the color of our own skin. Justice needs to be given when justice is supposed to be given. That's all that I can say. I don't want to go any further. And that brings me to the number 1 event that shaped 2014. That was the whole emerging of ISIS. ISIS is comic book villainy at its most real. We have seen some of the most shocking and most disturbing events take place in that area of the world. And this is something that thankfully the world is coming together to try and stop. It's going to take a long time, and it may be a war that freedom and democracy will not be able to win. It's a shame to know that there are people that still live like this in the world are existing. It's upsetting to know that these are people that really don't value human life. So much, in fact, to make podcasts and web videos of American and British anchor people being captured and beheaded in front of live audiences. But what I do believe is this is something that the whole world has to look at as a threat, because it's not just against one way of thinking. It's not just against one kind of religion. It's against everybody that is not like them. There are extremely peaceful Muslim people out there that just want to live plain, ordinary lives, and more importantly, free lives. But because of the fact that there are people like ISIS, these people are looked at as the same, and that is wrong. The world's a horrible place, but there is good in it, and it's worth fighting for. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I appreciate the fact that you all stuck with me for these past couple of months. I'm looking forward to another wonderful year, and I will speak to you guys soon. Enjoy your holidays and have a very happy, healthy new year. Actions speak louder than words.